Hoarders, a very simple, heck, even minimalistic competitive game about the secret selection of actions. In this game, players play on the role of adorable rodents that are gonna try to grab nuts right and left. Yes, it's all about the nuts, and you can expect that the puns will be strong with this one. It's a very small game, as you can see from the lid, very portable. In the game, you have, well, a first player's market. You can be the king of the rodents, at least for one round, because then that goes around. Then each player has a set of cards. Each player has exactly the same 5 cards, and they'll stay the same for the entire game. And then we have the nuts. We have a deck of cards representing different types of nuts. I like the colors, very nice, it feels very fall. Some of them a little too similar to one another. These two, when I'm looking across the table, it takes me a second to make sure that they're not the same. I wish there had been a little more contrast, but this is pretty much the only complaint I have about the game, so I can already tell you I like it. And so if this is the only complaint I have, it's good. We shuffle these nuts and we give 3 to each player, and the players place them face up in front of themselves. I recommend the players stack them like this so that you know exactly how many of each kind each player has, and this is very important because this is the heart of the game. During the game, players will use game effects to grab nuts, steal nuts, move nuts, do stuff with nuts, and the first player to have 5 identical nuts of a kind will win the game. So maybe 5 of these or 5 of that one. This per player starting with 3 different ones. Not so good, but not too much of a problem. The game is simplicity itself. At the beginning of each round, you reassign the marker for the first player. Then each player selects 2 cards from their hand and places them face down in front of themselves. Like so, and like so. And then, starting with the first player, players will reveal one of their cards, will resolve its effect, and then it goes around. Usually it goes around like this. Sequentially, each player reveals one, resolves the effect, and you continue until there are no cards. It may also be that some cards are played out of turn because of specific game effects. It may even be in fact that when your turn comes around, you don't have any cards anymore because of your game effects, but so be it. And pretty much this is the idea. The heart of the game is simply in what the different squirrels do, of course, what the actions are, and then you have to figure out ways of using them in a way that works for you. Now, the most intuitive one is the squirrel. Take a card from the deck. Simple, not a problem. You'll know for sure that you'll get a new one, but it comes randomly. Maybe you have 4 of a kind. There are more efficient ways of looking for the 5th one. However, it's never bad to get a card, unless, well, opportunity cost. Maybe you should be doing something else. The raccoon lets you steal a card from another player. Ooh, now that card, thank you very much, would be very nice if I have indeed revealed a raccoon, and this is the action I'm resolving right now. Unless, of course, the cute hamster is there fighting against the confiscation by the raccoons, and that's how it works. If a player is being targeted by a raccoon card, the player can reveal their hamster, if they selected it among the 2 cards, out of turn, and the raccoon action is cancelled. Then we have the groundhog that allows you to repeat any other action, whatever was the other action. So you can only reveal this one as your second card, and you repeat the card that you selected as your first card in a round, because we know the groundhogs are into infinite time loops. That's just what they do. That's what natural selection gave them. The beaver. Oh, the beaver is so fun. And a reminder that the effect of the beaver cannot be duplicated by the groundhog. Otherwise, once you know how the beaver works, then you really enter into time paradoxes and the fabric of the universe will start falling apart. What does the beaver do? When we have a player that reveals the beaver, so the first time that the beaver is revealed, everybody else that also selected the beaver as one of their 2 cards for the round has to select it. If that is the case, maybe no one else did. If only one player played a beaver this round, Then the player gets to draw 3 cards on the nut deck. 3, so that's very good. However, if more than one player played the beaver, all the beavers were running for the same thing and they got in each other's way. If more than one player played a beaver, then every player that did not play a beaver gets to draw 1 card from the deck, and the redundant beaver players don't get anything. These are the effects, very simple, but they interact with each other in very interesting, fun ways. But this is how you play Hoarders, extremely simple. Play 2 cards per round, reveal one at a time, in either order that you want. Resolve all the effects, and the first player to have 5 identical nuts of any one kind is the winner of the game. I don't know that I'll be able to convey to you how good, how engaging this little game is. It's incredible what you can do with such a small box, with really few components and even fewer rules. When I picked up the game, I thought it was gonna be super simple, maybe something I can play with my daughters, maybe I could try with my adult friends at game night if they really wanted to try a super light, super simple filler. I played it with the adults first, and actually I don't think I'm gonna play with my daughters until they are adults too. Because, well, first I think that some of the mechanics, they may feel mean to them, so I don't know the kids are really gonna enjoy all the stealing of nuts from one another. But the adults' friends got into this so much and so deeply. We have been playing it a lot. Pretty much every game night opens with some games of Hoarders. People are becoming obsessed. And again, I'm talking about fairly hardcore gamers. Because there is so much going on in such a small package and such a small core of rules. You're only selecting 2 actions. What is the big deal? Well, is that you're trying to figure out what everybody else is doing. And even once you do so, once you're committed, you still have some flexibility there based on the order in which you want to do things. Something that is not irrelevant, turn order, because of course if you're the last player, then you'll be, well, the last player to play a card, and there are advantages in that. On the other hand, that means that maybe a defensive card will not be as useful, or will it, because you're gonna have a chance to use it until the end. Or I steal a good nuts from you, but then you go after me and then you steal it back, or some other ways for you to exact revenge. So that is pretty interesting, because being last is not a bad thing, it's actually very good. Being first also has some advantages here and there, but it's better to go towards the end. But again, that means to pull off a certain combo, I may wait for 2 rounds when I am within the turn order in a more advantageous position. And then of course the situation changes constantly, because if there's a player that has 4 nuts of a kind, and now we have a little bit of diplomacy, we try to gang up against that player, or we pretend because we should all do that. And I'm hoping as you do that thing against the player, I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing something else. I'm not really contributing to the big war effort. I'm pushing my objectives. Then we reveal the cards, and everybody thought that. And so actually that player that has 4 wins. Another interesting element is the meta game. Now, technically, if we were all rabbits every turn, each player has exactly the same chances, the same incentives, the same objectives, for playing this or that card. Under those circumstances, that card is good. But the meta is based on the idea of if people play that card many times, and the beaver is really the heart of the game. Is Robin again gonna play the beaver? He played the beaver every darn round ever. Which can be a good strategy in a sense, because quote-unquote sooner or later other people will not play a beaver and you'll get it, but of course it takes so long, it may take a while. And then, okay, that discourages the people from playing the beaver, but again, you have wasted a card there for all the rounds in which that wasn't the case. I like how you can have the cautious strategy, which is get a random card, not so good, but there's worse. You can go for targeted attacks by taking a card, or you can gamble with the beaver card. And we do have a friend, yes, it's Robin, and Robin plays the darn beaver every time. No matter what happens, when Robin reveals the beaver, people are gonna laugh, are gonna cheer, either because he gets to do the thing, or people are like, can't believe he played it again. You will see a meta, you will see how the previous turns build up, not so much into the strategy, but into the strategy too, but into the diplomacy. So much fun. That really shows you how gaming, you can look at the design and it tells you something about the game, but really you need to add people. Games are people. Games are these hybrid systems between material objects, rules, and people. And this is a game where when you add the people, it turns into something completely different from what it might have appeared at first. Hoarders is small, is simple, but is not, and it's light in terms of rules, but it's not light in terms of strategy, and definitely not light in terms of the intense, amusing, engaging interactions that it will create around the table. We had so much fun playing Hoarders. I think this is going to be one of our basic or most common intro games at the beginning of game night, because everybody who tried it had an amazing time. You can't believe it from the box and the rules, you understand that, but give it a try. You may be seduced by the incredible fun of Hoarders too.